It started out about the dog teams, but it didn't stay that way for long. The Qikiqtani Truth Commission was launched in 2000, and the goal was to see if RCMP were responsible for a slaughter of dog teams between the 1950s and the late 70s. The loss of those dogs forced Inuit off the land and into communities. It didn't take them long to realize that the entire story was bigger than just the dogs. The scope expanded to show the historic conditions for Baffin Island Inuit at that time. In 2011, they developed 25 recommendations and received $20 million in federal funding to implement them.
Earlier, we received $20 million before, so we've already started to implement some of those recommendations, but certainly we'll do our very best to ensure that we do our best to implement most of the recommendation within the next few years, I guess.
And that's why Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Mark Miller zoomed into this QIA meeting to provide another $25 million to implement the 25 recommendations of the Truth Commission. Some of the recommendations are done. This is a look at the monument the RCMP put up for Inuit Special Constables just last year, following the report. Others, like attempting to revitalize dog sledding on Baffin Island, are partly complete.
The revitalization part of the dogs, we've started that with having the dog owners to come here and talk about what and how they could improve having more dogs in the future and how we could use them in hunting.
Some of the recommendations are easy to track. It was pretty easy to see when the RCMP built their Special Constable monument. Others, one calls for the government of Nunavut to operate following the Nunavut land claim. The government would say they are already. Other land claim partners would disagree. Another example? One recommendation is for an Inuit History Month to be declared. That still hasn't happened. This additional $25 million could get a few recommendations crossed off the list. Now QIA has to make sure it happens. Kent Driscoll, APTN National News, Qikiqtani.